Mathematics calculated, science experimented, debates all over the opposite and opposite side. Before I did this, allow me to pass the CID to the following people. To the judges, salute. To the chairperson, I bow. To the timekeeper, please keep down body because time is never recognized. To the audience, salute. Sit back and relax. And from the proposed side, let me quote the following motion, which states, is it better to be in a relationship than to be single? Let me list and expand the most important things in our motion. Relationship is the bond between two people. Single simply means being alone. Let me list.
Mathematics
sit back and relax. I'm going to pause side. Let me list and expand. Let me quote the following motion, which states, is it better to be in a relationship than to be single? Let me list and expand the most important things in our motion. Relationship is a bond between two people. Single simply means the act of being alone. Now, this brings me to my first point. Being in a relationship is not bad because if I can give you an example. In Genesis, God created Adam and Eve. He didn't create them to be single. He didn't create them to be single. No, He created them in order to have a relationship, not to create offspring. Let me give you also another example. Like it is said to all the people that one lice or one finger cannot kill a lice. As it is said, two heads or one head is better than one. As it is said that one head is better than one. Being in a relationship is not like having relationship is I just said that being in a relationship is not the matter of being in a relationship is not that yes, being in a relationship, as we read in Genesis, God created Adam and Eve in order for them to be in a relationship. He didn't create them for them to be single. As for us to be all alive, it's because of our parents, because they were in a relationship. Without our parents, we couldn't have been saved. So being in a relationship is not a sin. As it relationship, it takes us even into marriage, as it is. Said here. Yes, even being in a relationship can allow a person to be in marriage. As marriage is remember, also being in a relationship is good for us. Remember, being in a relationship is not
inseko sharp line. Show inseko na chwata box sharp.
Motivation, innovation, cooperation. I stand in front of people, pretend they are pimples, with dimples. And when I come to dimple, there is always a smile that comes 100 miles from the range of the river Nile. But before I go any further, allow me to pass my humble benediction to the high and most respected people in the house of intellectuals. To the fan of judges, I bow. To our chairman, I salute you. To you, my lovely audience, I say, mwah, sit back, relax. My members of the auditorium, as the first speaker, as the icebreaker, it is my duty to define the key technology in the motion. Members of the auditorium, relationship. This is the way in which two or more things are connected. Single this is the word used to refer someone who is not involved in any type of romantic relationship, including long-term dating, engagement, and or marriage. May the good moderator pass this to the panel for further verification. As I proceed to my first point. One, when one is single, you want all your decisions to be entirely your own. What do I mean by this? Members of the auditorium, us as youths, we spend most of the time thinking about the decision of others, while we have our own life on which to concentrate. Let me tell you this. This is so in the sense that as an individual, you spend little time deciding on what you want to do. But to the so-called sugar daddies,
Point of correction. As for that point,
allow me to proceed as if I wasn't disturbed by a question, but yet I'm not a question. Members of the auditorium, as I was speaking, you will spend little time deciding on what you want to do, and you have more time on improving your minds and yourself. Members of the auditorium, I've seen so many people looking like they are like those people from Shanti because of the same relationship. If one is single, you have so much time on to improve on himself rather than thinking on the decision of your partner or the so-called sugar daddies. This takes me to my second point. Being in a relationship is a share of time. As I was speaking, you spend most of your time with that person. While you have your own body on which to work on. Members of the auditorium, allow me to quote from the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 32 to 34. And the Bible reads, I would like you to be free from worry. An unmarried man concerns himself with the Lord's word because he is trying to please the Lord. But a married man concerns himself with worldly matters because he wants to please his wife. And so he is put into two directions. An unmarried woman or a virgin concerns herself with the Lord's word because she wants to dedicate both in body and spirit. But a married woman concerns herself with worldly matters because she wants to please her husband. Members of the house, as I was speaking, when someone is in a relationship, it's very confusing to say someone may be in a relationship, but the only thing that he or she will concentrate to is thinking about the other person. What am I going to do for this person? As you all know, being in a relationship is about giving and getting. If your sugar dad gives you something, what are you going to give in return? That's why I strongly oppose to this motion which says it is better to be in a relationship than to be single. Members of the auditorium, it's quite convincing to say if someone is in a relationship, you find that they will spend more of their time thinking about the other person, whilst they have their own bodies on which to spend most of their time. Members of the auditorium, as I quoted in the book of Corinthians, it is teaching us to say if one is in a relationship, you have time to think about the other person instead of he or she concentrating on himself to say, okay, I have to do this work for the Lord, I have to do that work for the Lord. But when one is in a relationship, you find that you always have the time to do things that may please the other partner other than thinking of himself. Allow me to proceed to my third point. Dating is always a far cry from the picture. Dating is always a far cry. The light-hearted picture our minds like to paint. People always paint a picture of what dating is all about, minus knowing the negative impact of it. Members of the auditorium, as I was speaking, with the so-called sugar daddies, you always, he or she, about the sugar mummies, he or she will give you money, but what are you going to give in return? These members of the auditorium states that if I, as the sugar daddy, I give you something, I also expect something in return. Now, what are you going to give me in return? I stand 90 degrees across the ground, trying to speak the words that are shaking in my mind. Tonga is my name. If there are any questions I don't know, if this is my final destination in this debate session, in this debate motion, all I truly know is that I rest my case.
Thank you.
It is just a revolution. He came down to save the ownership. On the cross, he completed his mission. Jesus, you are my inspiration. Lord, your love for me is my inspiration. Oh, I almost forgot. This was given to the highest member of the auditorium. To the judges, to the chairperson, I bow. To the timekeeper, keep time ticking and don't waste time. Because the man created time died a long time. Now, let me go to my first point. As we read, being in a relationship, it's not an easy thing, but being in a relationship creates us to. Or I can also give an example in 1 Corinthians 7 verse 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 28 to 29. It says, "But if you do marry, you have not sinned. And if a betrothed or brother woman or a betrothed woman marries, she has not sinned. Yet those who marry will have worldly troubles. I would spare you for that. This is what I mean, brothers. The appointed time has grown very short. From now on, let those who have wives live as though they had none." As I explain in this point, all members of the auditorium, this point leads us to in a relationship. As for a relationship, how can people multiply in this world without a relationship? I can give you an example, like our parents. In order for them to get married, they were in a relationship. As for now, like Speaker X was saying that dating nowadays, it's like girls, they are dating sugar daddies because you said that because what you give, they receive. So for that, let me ask you: do all young children date? Or if I can call a whole childhood here, can that whole childhood date?
Point of debate.
Let me proceed. Yeah. Yes, being a relationship is a good thing. I can give you an example, like having a hand to hold you as you go through life makes the difficulties we all experience to be easy. I can also give you an example, like I can also give you an example, like our parents. If they have kids, those kids, if they go to school, will they depend on themselves? No, they will depend on their parents because of their relationship they had between them. Having someone who knows you,
tafurire
being in a relationship can help you make a better people. You can get more done when you have a partner. Sometimes it is a matter of motivation. Other times it's just nice to have a company putting your heads and hearts together helps us to work well. Having someone who knows you deeply is a validity. This is the gift of knowing that the wonderful things you do are not going unnoticed, and it is a gift. It gives you more reason to do them. Romance creates warmth, hope, and happiness. The more you have, the more you will enjoy yourself. It sounds simple because it's
standing in front of you, just know it is about to baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But if you see a white intellectual like me standing in front of you, just know that I'm about to baptize you in the name of the great expectation in the motion. Boy, final PDS members of the session, allow me to pass my humble benediction to the highest, most respected people in the house of intellectuals. Or should I simply say, all protocol is observed. Allow me to go to my first point. The reason why it is not better to be in a relationship. One, movement limitation. This can be put into a scenario whereby someone is given a chance to pursue further studies, but due to the so-called partners, one has a limited movement because he or she will be discouraged by the other partner to say, you can't go there. What about me? You can't do that. How about me? So members of the auditorium, it's not right to be in a relationship. Rather than you should just be single. My second point is relationship conflict disturb parental to child-based relationship. What do I mean by so? Our parents have been always who encourage us never to be in a relationship. The reason is simple, because they know what is best for us. But us as youths, we like to engage ourselves in this premarital relationship because of our own self-desires. And even in the Bible, it is stated to say the desire is the beginning. One having the desire to do something is the beginning of what? Of sin. So if you have that much desire to do something, you probably end up sinning against God and the other people. And so just to put you in a clear picture, they said to say like when you sin in an immoral way, the spirit can be born again, but the body will never be. What have I said so? Members of the auditorium, let's take for instance, if you involve yourself in an immoral living, at the end of the day, you involve yourself in that part. You may go to the priest and say, Father, I did this and this. Your spirit will be born again, but your body, my dear brothers and sisters, will never be the same. As long as you involve yourself in those such kinds of activities, your body will never remain the same, and it will continue. As a result, you end up having difficulties in life. One of such difficulties is unwanted pregnancies. Because you involve yourself in relationship, you end up having so many diseases. One of them is syphilis and those such of STIs. Members of the auditorium, allow me to proceed to my second point. Relationship makes you astray. Relationship makes you stray away from self-focus. As I was speaking earlier, members of the auditorium, once you concentrate too much on being in a relationship, you end up forgetting about yourself. How come? If you are in a relationship, you always have time to do things that the other partner likes. But what about yourself? What do you have for yourself? What are you supposed to do for you to be confident enough? What are you supposed to do for you to live as a person? Because members of the auditorium, many of the times us youth are always doing things not because we want them, but because of Bwanamkubwa. Many of the times us youth we involve ourselves in doing things because our friends are doing it. Members of the auditorium, therefore it is my conviction to say it's not better to be in a relationship. With these few but convincing points of mine, I rest my case.
If a cheetah can cheetah in the wild of cheetah, how can a cheetah in the wild? Oh, this is like respect must be given to the highest people of the school. The judges, the chairman, the judgekeeper. If time ago it was establishing to them. Let me go to my first point. Being in a relationship is a good thing. As we read here in 1 Corinthians 7 verse 25 to 30, it says, now concerning the betrothed, I have no command from the Lord, but I give by judgment, as who by the Lord's mercy is strengthened. I think that in a view of present distress, it is good for a person to remain. It is good for a person to remain at ease. Are you bound to the wife? Do not seek to be be free. Are you free from a wife? Do not seek a wife. But if you do marry, you have not sinned. And if your betrothed woman marries, she has not sinned. Yet those who marry will have worldly troubles, and I will spare you for that. This is what I mean, brothers. The appointed time has grown very short. From now on, let those who have wives live as though they have none, and those who mourn as though they have not mourned. Let me explain a bit about this one. Members of the auditorium, being in a relationship is not simply means like going dating like around the tree like 19 hours. No, being in a relationship is something. In order to be in a relationship, being in a relationship, this is being in a relationship, it's just an experience whereby ukuba mu relationship ndekuti ati awe iyo natu yamkwimira pachimwe tukanyata boy tukakona relationship. No, be relationship like tinapera for example abafyashi pakuti fotuwe ni muri relationship bali na abafyashi bega kukanya freedom ya now we can find that you what is the relationship? No, get to be our flash. You need to know other people in order for you to experience what is outside. Not just that. Being in a relationship is not like staying at home, no. But being in a relationship, it means like relationship. Waishi kwa amaidieza abantu ngeti ule yafukuskuru ati basa bambo kufunda mati iwo lilewe kawishe kuna mchimo. If you don't have a relationship with your friends, tu waishi bashani memati ya balenso. Leo what a relationship ya watu like you know wase kuchage fun. Uleza iwe kama kwewe don't still understand. This is to check on south kumulowe olokudi. If you for the extra consult kuba no mlandu da upate relationship na wewe. Let's compare an example. Like come on. Okay, be in a relationship. Ukuwa mu relationship the kwa walika kila wewe. Okay, Yesu Kristo aliowe but Yesu Kristo ali mwana wa Bwana, so that is your but be in a relationship the kwa nawe kake wengine na ukekia de muntu ozo wishiwe vitu vyote. So
not on Facebook, but you always find time to visit. It's not on WhatsApp, but guess what? It's great. What is up? So, allow me, as the summarize the points that were raised by myself as you. Neutralize the points that were raised by my opposite government. Members of the auditorium, our current speaker talked of the relationship that our parents had. That was pre-colonial. This time, a lot of people have known different things. I remember this thing said, Umunwe. Okay, sorry. Allow me to proceed. Sorry. Allow me to proceed. Members of the auditorium, those relationships that our parents once had, they were guided kind of relationships. They used to They used to ask for permission from their parents to say, "Mother, can I go and see that?" Those were arranged relationship. This is because parents always know what is our best for us. Because if we engage ourselves in those such of relationship without our parents knowing, that's the reason why you find people staying under the tree, lying to each other to say, "Okay, I'll buy you this, I will buy you that, I will do this for you." But as for us youths, it's never and will never be good for us to be in a relationship. Members of the auditorium, allow me now to summarize the points that I raised. I talked about movement limitations. A lot of people have been limited to move because of the same relationship. An example that I can give you, let's for instance, one has passed the job with 6 points. Then that person is going to say, "Okay, you can start in China." But because of that partner of yours, he or she will limit you upon going there because she knows that what she can do there, you go there and find another person. So the reason why us as youth, we are not supposed to engage ourselves in this kind of relationship because it destroys our future. What dream do you have for yourself? What do you have to do for yourself? What improvement should you do upon your life? This is what stated to say, success is not about the money, the house, or the big cars that you have. Success is about becoming the best version of yourself. Who are you? As we speak right now, who are you? Are you the best version of yourself, or you're just there because of the success that your parents have? Let us build a future in our own view. Let us not do things because others are doing it. Let us do things that have the best benefits upon our life. Let's not do things because of the benefits of others. Members of the auditorium, allow me to proceed to the second point that I raised. Dating is a far cry from the light-hearted picture our minds always paint. You always paint what is dating upon your life. You say, "Okay, for me, dating is going out and doing all that." But the true meaning of dating is knowing that person by heart, not by expressing yourself or like involving yourself in those such of activities that you and I as youth like to involve ourselves in. Those kind of activities will bring so many difficulties upon our life. Let's say, for instance, you say, "Okay, me, I'm dating. I've been dating for 7 years." You've been dating for 7 years. Then that person tells you, what are you going to do after that? Members of the family, where are you going to do it? If your partner tells you, you have been spending 7 years knowing that person. But members of the house, let us allow ourselves, let us have self-control. Let us control ourselves, not because we want what is the best for us. Let us do something that will that will make our parents proud of us, not because our friends are doing it. A lot of people have been going astray because of the things that other people do. The desire to do something is the beginning of sin. If you have the desire to be in a relationship, at the end of the day, you will sin because no sugar that will give you something without anything in return. Can I give you money? Give me nothing. No, members of the auditorium, it is my conviction to say it's never better to be in a relationship. The other point is, our culture doesn't allow premarital encounters or other relationships. Parents have been always encouraging us. Never should you involve yourself in such kind of activities. But us as youth, because of our desire to do things that other people are doing, we are always getting this from those Western countries because they have what is called prom night or whatsoever. But what does our culture teach us as youths in Zambia? What heritage do we have us as Zambians? What are we supposed to do us as youths in Zambia? What do we have for ourselves? What time are you going to have on improving yourself rather than thinking of the other?